How is matriarchy better than patriarchy? Let's do a little thought experiment. Let's just say you took a population and you divided it in half. And to one of those groups, you instilled certain values. Values like you're supposed to care about the needs of other people as much, if not more than your own needs. You teach them emotional intelligence so that they can not only relate to their own emotions, but they can relate to the emotions of other people and understand their motivations. You teach them that being cooperative, being a team player is really important. And this group of people that you have socialized this way are also the group of people who are bearing children and who are doing most of the child rearing. Thus, they are extremely invested in the well-being of future generations. Now, you take the other group of people and you socialize them to believe that their value comes from production, from achievement, from being better than other people. You teach them that their value as a human being is precarious, that it can be taken from them at any time if they're not productive enough and if they're not out achieving other people. You instill in them the driving force of competition and power hoarding, because power hoarding is the only thing that makes them feel even the slightest bit safe. You also tether their value to their performance of traditional masculinity, which in and of itself contains great propensity for violence. You essentially tell this whole group that it is better to be violent than it is to feel your feelings, let alone admit out loud that you have feelings. Now, the natural consequence of us having given power to the latter group, the power hoarding group, is that the people in the other group, people socialized as women, have had to work twice as hard at men to get just as far. And Black and Indigenous and other women of color have had to work even harder than white women. So almost by definition, if they're at the same level, the woman is going to be more competent. And after all this, if you still have not come to the conclusion that we have socialized women in such a way that would make them much more adept at leadership, think back to your high school or college experience when you had to do group projects. Who did the group projects? Who took the lead on the group projects? Because I'm willing to bet that 9 out of 10 times, it was somebody socialized as a woman. I'm also willing to bet that she gave you due credit and didn't leave you out to dry, because that's what we've been trained to do. So let us take over the group project of managing all of this. Because hey, history has revealed some of her secrets to us. And as it turns out, societies which were matriarchal or matrilineal tended to be much more egalitarian than societies that were patriarchal. There are many examples of this if you're willing to do a deep dive into anthropology. When women are in charge, everybody has equal access to resources. They have equal access to having their voice heard. You see, the only leadership that you can imagine is the leadership that you have seen, which is patriarchal leadership, leadership by power hoarding, leadership by authority. Women tend to lead by collaboration. Women tend to lead by consensus. Imagine a group of women facilitating a discussion with the aim that everybody comes to consensus on what the best path forward is. It's just the women leading that conversation because they can also read the room a lot better. That's matriarchal leadership. It is not women holding power and excluding men and using that power to do violence to men. That is not what matriarchal leadership looks like. That is not how matriarchal leadership manifests. You just don't have a template for what matriarchal leadership could really look like. And hey, we only need to be a matriarchy for like 100 years, because over that time, with women running things, we will socialize all children the same. We might even do away with the gender binary altogether. But once we socialize men to care about other people, to understand their emotional experience, to be able to relate to the emotional experience of others, and to care about the future of the world beyond their own existence here, once we have socialized enough men to do that, then yeah, like we'll all lead together.